Hey boss, today's topic I wanted to talk about is the value of work ethic. And this is really important, and the story came about, one, because I was having a conversation with some colleagues of mine yesterday, and this topic of values came up, and so I thought it was really important to share. And also, I was on vacation last week, and I went back to the grocery store when I got back and grocery shop to stock up what we needed for the week. And I was checking out, and the cashier was ringing me up. There was a lady at the end bagging my groceries, and I was looking at the doorway of the grocery store, and there was this 17, 18-year-old kid who was playing, on his phone, reading his phone, looking down, not obviously working, not looking around what needed to be done. And the lady at the end of the checkout actually turned around and said, "Hey, put down the phone and you need to get back to work." And so I thought about this idea of work ethic and the values that we all live with. And this story kind of, it showed me, because I did not grow up that way. I would never just be playing on my phone, reading my text messages or whatever. That's just not how I was raised. And so for me, values are non-negotiable, and they are how I grew up and who I am. Hey, I'm Dr. Heather Williamson with the Transformation Group, and welcome back to the channel. All right, so I wanted to share a little story about how work ethic was instilled in me at an early age. So when I was 10 years old, we moved and I grew up on this farm. And we had chickens, we had about 150 head of sheep, we had horses. And every morning during the school week, I was up at 5:30 in the morning to go out there and feed the animals, make sure they had water and food before I left. And then we went to school, and then I came back from school and had to do it again at 6 o'clock at night. So that was instilled. This was a routine that I had to get up early. And then on the weekends, we were up, my sister and I were up at 7 o'clock every Saturday morning. My dad would wake us up, and then we would go out and do work on the farm, whether it's putting up hay, fixing fences, fixing the barn. No matter what it was, we were out there working all the time. The only day that we really didn't do outside work was Sundays. And so this was my life, whether it's working in the garden, this is what we did. And this is all I knew. So this is what I'm also trying to pass on to my son. I mean, we currently have a little bit of acreage. I have a garden, we have chickens. And so my son has, ever since he's been able to walk, has been able to help work in the garden. He takes care of the chickens. We have dogs and cats. And this is part of me teaching him the value of work, the value that it brings, the value of satisfaction when you see a job well done. And he is learning that. He's 14 years old now. Yeah, he fights me sometimes. I mean, he's a teenager, but he goes out, he cuts the grass on his own, and these are things that he sees what he does. And he mentioned this to me the other day. He goes, "I was out weed eating and cut the grass, and I came back to the house and I was like, gosh darn." He goes, "It looks so good, Mom." And I'm like, yes, you see the effort that you put into a task and what the outcome was, and it made you feel good. And so learning work ethic. I mean, my son is not an angel. I'm not going to say that he is, but he works hard. He makes good grades. And it's these things because he has learned to figure out what needs to happen, and he doesn't stop. He doesn't quit. And that is what I'm trying to teach my son, because that is what I learned. Give 110% effort on whatever you do. Don't be standing around on your phone when you see other people working. This is when you go out and say, "Hey, I'm done with my job, my task, what can I do to help you? And so these are some things that, I hear about when I'm coaching clients that is a big challenge for the younger generation today, is when they see that they just don't have the work ethic that they have. And so when you think about that, yes, it comes to how we were raised, and I'm just speaking from my own personal experience about how I was raised and how, I didn't have a choice. Yeah, I had to get up at 5:30 in the morning during the school week to go take care of the animals before we left for school. That's just the way it was. And I didn't know anything else. And so, yes, my son sees that, hey, my other friend doesn't have to do all this. And I'm like, well, that's fine for that family. But for you, you are going to learn what it means to take care of somebody else, whether it's an animal or chores around the house. You're part of the family, and this is what's going to happen. So I think work ethic is something that is instilled at an early age, and I'm not saying that it can't be taught, because it can, but when it comes to work ethic, you've got to it's got to be reinforced all the time. And for me, I'm glad I had that lifestyle growing up, and I'm trying to do the same thing for my son and live that, not so much with 150 head of sheep, but have that lifestyle where we do have chickens, we do have to take care of them and get the eggs, and we have a huge garden where it means picking the vegetables, picking the blueberries, and processing them and putting them up for the winter. I love that. That is my that is really joy for me. And so that work ethic that I put into it to make sure that it happens, that I get the produce, I don't let things die because I don't water, that means something to me, because I can see the return on that investment. Like my son sees the return on the investment of him cutting the grass and weed eating. And so this is kind of what I wanted to share with you today, is that work ethic, the value of it is important. And so if you have kids, then instill the work ethic in them, implement what you have learned when you grew up. And if you didn't grow up having chores, then chores are a good thing. They actually teach kids to be self-sufficient as they get older, and they learn how to do things and make them productive citizens later on. So hopefully you got some great information out of this video. It's a little different from what I've done in the past, but I just kind of wanted to share the value of work ethic, and that is that it does teach you how to work hard. It does teach you how to, give 110% and also set goals. So this is really important to me, and hopefully you got some value out of it. So don't forget to subscribe to this channel. If you like what you see, please like the button below. And don't miss out on any other weekly videos that I do that really focus on leadership tips and how you can be a better boss. So until next time, go out and be that boss that your employees want to work for. Bye.